Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a pretty huge shift in how we think about our planet's forests, moving away from seeing them as just timber factories and toward understanding them as these incredibly complex, living ecosystems. So, what does it actually mean to manage a forest? That's a great question, because it is so much more than just letting trees grow wild. It's a very deliberate practice with really specific goals. And for a long, long time, those goals were super focused. All right, to really get this, we've got to start with the core principle that has shaped our forests for centuries. Okay, so the official term here is silviculture. You can basically think of it as a forester's master plan. It's the art and science of actually sculpting a forest to hit a specific target, whether that's making timber, creating a home for wildlife, or even protecting a water source. For a really, really long time, that main goal was overwhelmingly focused on just one thing: production. Yeah, the whole mindset was to look at a forest like a factory that produces wood. The number one goal was all about efficiency. How can we get the most valuable timber out as fast as possible and make the most money? And this right here, it's a perfect illustration of the two big methods they used. With even-aged management, like clear cutting, you're pretty much hitting the reset button on the entire factory floor. But with uneven-aged management, like single tree selection, it's more like you're carefully picking individual items off the assembly line, while the rest of the factory just keeps on running. And, just like any factory, you've got your regular maintenance schedule. Things like thinning to give your best trees more room to grow, or sanitation cutting to get rid of pests and disease. It was all about keeping that production line running smoothly and making a profit. But then, something started to change. In the late 20th century, this whole production-first model started to get some serious pushback. And what's crazy is how fast this all happened. This timeline shows that in less than 10 years, the entire global community came together to completely rethink our relationship with the planet's resources. And forests were right at the heart of that whole conversation. And this right here, this one sentence from that report, it was an absolute game changer. It defined sustainable development and brought this powerful idea of our responsibility to future generations to the forefront. For the first time on a huge global scale, it forced us to stop asking just what can we take now and start asking what do we have to leave behind. So, okay, with this new philosophy of sustainability, you obviously need a whole new playbook for how to manage forests. This table, honestly, this is the core of the whole explainer. It lays out the before and after crystal clear. The focus swung from just seeing a forest as a pile of resources to seeing it as this complex, interconnected living system. And the goals expanded from just short-term cash to long-term health for the ecology, for society, and for the economy. And this is the really crucial point: sustainable forest management, or SFM. It isn't anti-economy, not at all. It's about weaving those economic needs into the bigger picture. It's all about finding that balance point where we can get what we need while making sure the whole system stays healthy for the long haul. So what did this actually look like on the ground? Well, it meant a total reshuffling of priorities. We moved from just thinking about the volume of timber to the overall quality and health of the entire landscape. The forest wasn't just a product anymore. It was now seen as a form of natural capital, something that provides all these services that go way beyond just wood. Okay, so why is this massive shift so critical on a global scale? Why does it matter so much? To really get why, we need to zoom out, way out, and look at a really basic but super powerful pattern of life on our planet. It shows us exactly where nature's most complex and important systems are concentrated. It's something called the latitudinal gradient, and it's a pretty simple idea. The sheer number of different species, it's not spread out evenly across the globe. As you move from the equator up toward the poles, that diversity of life just drops off, big time. And I mean, the difference is just staggering. Take a look at this. In a single hectare of a tropical forest, you can find over 100 different kinds of trees. But in a temperate forest, maybe 30 if you're lucky. Tropical forests are these unbelievable hotspots for biodiversity. And this isn't just random chance, right? There are real reasons for this. The tropics have this perfect recipe: a stable climate, tons of sun and rain, and these really complex habitats that create all sorts of little nooks and crannies for life to evolve. The poles, on the other hand, have a much tougher environment, so fewer species can make a go of it. And that is why this whole ecosystem approach is so vital. This incredible biodiversity isn't just, nice to have. It's the engine. It's what powers everything from the health of our soil to the stability of our entire planet's climate. When you damage these high-diversity forests, it has massive knock-on effects for absolutely everyone. In fact, if you look at the work from the Center for International Forestry Research, they've laid out 5 massive global challenges where managing our forests sustainably is absolutely central to finding a solution. And these aren't separate problems. They are all tangled together, with forests right at the core. And that really brings us right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? As our world keeps changing, how do we strike that balance between what we need from a forest and what the forest itself needs to survive? This isn't just a question for scientists anymore. It's the delicate balancing act that sustainable forest management is pushing all of us to figure out.